Hi, this is Professor Matuzik, just going over one of the assignments that we're doing. It's a temperature conversion table. An assignment that I came up with. So I just thought I'd run you through it real quick, kind of show you a few things. Let's go ahead and I'm going to open up a new window here. Boom. And I just want to do some basic stuff. I'm just going to put in some comments. I'm going to put in my name. I'm going to put in the date. I'm going to put in the assignment. Now, one thing that we did cover is different basic data types. So we have integers, which are whole numbers. We have floating points, which are numbers that have decimal points. We have strings, which have quotes around them, and it's words, basically, so we can work with character data. And one that they kind of don't mention in the book at the very beginning, and that's Boolean, which is something that either is true or false. So I'm going to start with a Boolean, and I'm going to have something called done. And done basically is indicating when the user is actually done running the program and wants to quit. So we're going to ask the user, do you want to quit? And if they say yes, I'm going to set the done variable to true, and it will end the program. So in this case, I'm going to initialize done to false because at this point in when they first start writing the program, they're not done. So I'm going to say done. So the next thing I want to do is I want to do a little print statement that says, what does this program do? So this program, um, a temperature conversion table. And I'm actually going to put in a little escape character there. So it'll add a new line. So I do that little thing just to say, when they run the program, it's going to tell them what the thing is doing. The next thing I want to do is basically I'm going to start the loop. So I'm going to say while not done. So as long as that variable is false, it's going to keep doing this loop. Okay. So when done is going to be true, it's actually going to run through there, and the not basically says the true to false. And when because uh, the not basically takes the done condition and changes it to the opposite. So if done it right now is false, well, the not makes it true, so we keep going through the loop. I won't beat that one up too much. So the next thing I want to know, basically, I'm going to do an input. So I want to do create something called F to C. This is my little variable. So that's basically means Fahrenheit to Celsius, right? I'm going to say I'm going to do my input statement, and I'm going to say again, this is not very pretty. So let me change that up a little bit. Um, oh, Fahrenheit. There you go. I want to put in a little colon in there indicating basically that they have to provide some sort of input. All right. And I want to basically get this so it So I can see the whole thing. Okay, there you go. So they're going to say, they're going to enter an F or they're going to enter a C. We kind of don't care. We're going to say, we're going to test to see if it's an F. We're going to say if F to C equals, again, double equals because we're checking a condition, equals F, then what? So if they say we want to convert to Fahrenheit, well, we're going to ask them, well, what is the starting point for our table? What is the ending point for our table? And basically, what is the step? So I'm going to say, let's do the starting point. So start equals, again, because we're using this for a for loop, we need to have everything in integers. So these are the three things I need, the three pieces of data. So the next thing I basically have that data that I need from the user, from these input statements. So now I need to compute the output. So I'm going to say basically what? Print. And I'm going to use something called an F string, which F is for formatted. So now what I want to do is, I'm going to do, excuse me, got my for loop. So my start, stop, and step, right? So it's start, stop, and step. So we're going to start with the first thing. It's going to stop at the last thing. Now that's a little tricky. It actually stops beforehand, right? So then the step is how big are the jumps between the different numbers? Like if you left out the step, it would just go by one. But I might want to go by more than one. I might want to go by 5 or 10. So now what I need to do is actually do the print statement. There you go. And I want it to basically, again, I'll do an F string. And I want to have in this case, it's going to be the Fahrenheit temperature. So that's going to be, in this case, I, right? Because if I look in my loop counter, it's going to be an I. And then what I want to do is I'm going to do a tab over because, again, I don't want the things to be right next to each other. I want to make it line up a little bit on the columns. So then I want to have how do I convert from one to the other? So let me go ahead and do that. I believe the temperature is 5 divided by 9, right? And that's going to be multiplied by I minus 32. And there you go. Now, I do want to make this a little prettier. No, I'm going to leave that off for now. I'm going to leave off the pretty part for now. Um, Now I do have to end that. So again, I have to match everything. So again, it's going to have this should be the Fahrenheit and this should be the Celsius part. All right. So there you go. And looks like, oh yeah, I forgot to put in my in parentheses there. Oh, okay. There we go. That's kind of it for that part, right? But again, you see the if statement. So that does the Fahrenheit part. Let's go ahead and do the other part. Now, in this case, I'm going to say if they chose F, I'm going to do the conversion to Celsius. But instead of saying if they enter C, it'll do the Fahrenheit, I'm basically going to say if they did anything besides an F, we're going to assume that they meant the C. So we're going to do so I'm going to do this as an else. So it's going to kind of be the same thing. It's still going to have the start. And you can make this a little prettier, but it's fine. Okay, yeah. Let's see. Okay. I'm going to do end. End, same thing. Now, this next part is a little different. So again, I still have my for loop for I have an I, but now we're converting the other way. We're converting, the first way was converting from Fahrenheit to Celsius. This one is converting from uh, Celsius to Fahrenheit. So for I in range, it'll be start, stop, excuse me, end, and step. Print. Again, we're doing F string because again, it makes the output look nicer. Now the formula is different because we're converting the other way. So again, let me do the temperature conversion. So it's going to be something along the lines of I times 9 divided by 5 plus 32. Again, I can make this output look nicer, but I'm going to leave it there for the moment. So this handles my conversions, but now what do I want to do? I'm going to basically have to say something along the lines of, are we done? Are we done yet? So I'm going to say, again, this question has to be in the loop. So I'm going to say something along the lines of, um, let's say continue. I have to be very, very careful because if I chose a variable name and it's a keyword, it's going to give me an error. So if I use continue, continue is a keyword, so I can't use that. So I'll just abbreviate that. Um, so I'll say input, and I'll say continue. Now I basically have to tell the user what are the user's choices. So I'll say yes, or no. Got to give the user some choices here. Again, I put in the colon to kind of indicate, I want a response from the user. I'm going to say if that equals um, so what I want to do basically say if that equals no, then I want to flip done to yes. So I'm going to say if that equals, then I'll say done equals true. I can make this nicer. So I can go here. So if I say cont dot lower equals m, then done is true. So this will take whatever that number is and we'll convert it to a lowercase. So if they type in the uppercase n, it'll convert to lowercase, and so they can either type a uppercase n or a lowercase n, and it'll be fine. So that's kind of the program. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens when I run it. I'm just going to call this um, temperature conversion table. All right. Okay. So there you go. I did have an error here because I used a single equal, and it needs to be double equal because it's a condition, right? Um, I use a single equals if it's assigning a value to a variable, but if it's a condition, I need to use a double. So let's try that again. That's doing something. So I'm initially going to put in, let's do an F, enter the starter table. Let's do 0 degrees. The end of the table, let's do 100. Now, here's a problem. It's actually not going to go to 100. And I'm going to do this let's do this by tens. It didn't like something. Ah, okay. Because that's fair. So I made a boo-boo. Again, this is part of the troubleshooting. So I'm going to go ahead and um, that should be end. There you go. There's my table. Again, it doesn't go all the way to 100. Now you can fix that. Now I'm going to go ahead and run this again, but now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try again, you need to check these numbers to make sure that they're correct. That's just a part of programming, is making sure that your numbers are right. But I'm going to run it again. So I'm going to say continue. I want to say Y for yes. And I want to do the other one. So I'm going to hit C. I'm going to start with 0. And I'll do 100 again. And my increment will be by, let's do 20. And let's see. There you go. Again, you may have to fix that a little bit to make it work. But so there you go. That again, you want to check those values. That looks right. Um, I want to say those look right as well. But now I want to say continue. I want to say no. And again, I could have ended that better, right? So normally I'll put in, let me just show you this real this thing very quickly, and I'll hit so instead of just getting out of there, I probably want to do something along the lines of maybe just print. So that way, when it leaves the program, it will, again, you have to be very careful about indentation. So there you go. That's kind of the program. You can make it better. Um, Again, if you saw some of the output, I can fix that a little bit too. But I'm going to leave it at there just to kind of give you guys an idea about how to do the program. All right, if you have any questions, let me know. I'm going to go ahead and put this out there for you guys and see you next time. All right, bye bye.